Yo, welcome to Sig Slayers, the comic interview show, period. I'm Mike the Sig Slayer, chilling with Mark the Honorable Villain. What up, fam?
What's up, Mike? We have a top-tier artist with us today, man. This guy pitted the Predator against the Black Panther for the first time, man. Let him know who we got, man.
Joining us today, we have comic artist Sean Damien Hill. But before we chat with Sean, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please comment. All right. Our next guest, I'm excited about this next guest, man. Our next guest, up-and-coming artist. His work can be seen in Bishop Ware College, Predator versus Black Panther, as we mentioned before, and the Ghost Rider stories, Spirits of Vengeance. Ladies and gentlemen of the Stash Land, we bring to you comic book artist Sean Damien Hill. What up, man?
Hey, how's it going? Appreciate it. Appreciate being here.
Hey, man, we are so happy to have you. We're huge admirers of you. I've been seeing you on IG and stuff, and I've been following you for a while, and I think we've been following each other, and so I'm glad that we're able to make this happen, man. This is dope. So we're gonna just dive right on in. So Sean, since it's your first time on the show, we like to get your comic book origin story. In other words, how did you get your first gig in pro comics?
Oh, first gig, like I managed to get somebody to pay me for it. So really, it was a independent company from Atlanta called Terminus Media that they had. I didn't really know anything about how getting into comics, so I was just sending my portfolio to any website that accepted like online portfolios, and they gave me an email back, actually hired me, and they had me on a book called Terminus Team Up. It was Amber Fox versus the Terror Force. I remember it pretty fondly. I was broke. I didn't even have paper to draw it on. They sent me paper. I had kicked that issue out as fast as I could, which, still when you're beginning, it's still taking too long. And next thing you know, I'm done with the issue. They gave me a call and they're like, "Hey, so what's your page rate?" And I'm like, "What's a what?" So I had to figure out how much I needed to get paid. And so, that was my first like pro gig.
Man, and what year was that?
Oh my goodness. It's got to be early 2000, maybe 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. So Sean, were there any? Obviously, you had to be some kind of a comic book fan growing up. Who were some of your influences as an artist?
When I was a kid, it's probably too many to count, but so some of these artists aren't comic artists. Like some are comic artists, like Bernie Wrightson, the big influence.
Right.
And I probably shouldn't even have known about him at that age, because he had illustrated this horror book called The Stand by Stephen King. And I was a huge horror fan when I was a kid. And I would sneak behind my family to go watch it and stuff. And my mom had a lot of horror books. That was one of them. So I would look at some of the art in her version, her publication of the story, and it had all these incredibly detailed line drawings in it. And I was trying to figure out who this was and all that stuff. And I found the name at the beginning of the books. It was a Bernie Wrightson, and my grandfather and my mom were both huge comic book heads. So I was kind of indoctrinated by them, but they were definitely curating what kind of comics I should and shouldn't be looking at. But it was just, that was one big influence. Another one was looking at Sam Keats stuff as I got older. Even looking at the Spike Lee Levi's button-fly commercial, Rob Liefeld. You know, that probably in my brain told me, like, you know, there are actually people who draw this stuff, like real people, not just the name in the book. You could probably be one of those people and stuff like that. But I didn't like really think it could be me until I started seeing like Dennis Cohen stuff and like Milestone and things like that. So
shout out to Dennis Cowan, man. All right, so speaking of which, was there a pro, OGs, any kind of mentor that kind of showed you any kind of ropes on how to troubleshoot things, streamline things?
So I actually had a mentor growing up. His name is Kofi Tires. He was an artist that pretty much lived in DC. He owned his own greeting card business that he would like repurpose a lot of his artwork for a lot of his business cards and stuff like that. But on the side, he also did a lot of comic strip publications and stuff like that. And he would self-publish his own strips and stuff like that. So I got introduced to him because he was doing like a comics illustration workshop at my elementary school. And so, yeah, it was like destiny. It was like fate. So I got introduced to him and super young, and then he started showing us the process of how to actually do it. You know, from figuring out how to tell a story, figuring out how to write a story. You know, never specialized in the writing, but you know, it was an experience that definitely stuck, and I kind of just stuck with him, like growing up, like just learning how he did things. You know, I definitely wouldn't be doing it today if not for him. So.
Was there any kind of like formalized education? Did you go to like art school? Did you major in art or marketing or anything like that? Anything that kind of aided that, you know?
Outside of his mentorship, I did go to arts high school. It was Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And I think at this time, I thought like I was being introduced to so much fine art stuff that I thought that I probably won't be able to be a comic artist. One, because I have no idea how to get into that. And for two, yeah, I just had no idea about how to do any kind of narrative storytelling. Back then, comics was just like cool pictures and, you know, blood and guts and stuff. So it was at that point, I think I wanted to try to be some kind of painter, and I think I had in my head that I needed to be a painter and I needed to show in a gallery, and I was gonna, you know, get rich, sell paintings for $1 million and live in New York or something like that. So that did not happen. I actually, when I got to college, I actually dropped out because I was like, when you go into an arts high school, that particular school kind of treated it like a college. There was a super high expectation on what you needed to produce for your art classes and stuff like that. And they just, you know, they did not allow you to slack. So, you know, if you got a C in your art classes, then they consider putting you out. So that made me take it super seriously, but at the same time, by the time I got to college, I think I was burnt out within the second year. Completely dropped out, didn't know what I was going to do with myself. And then after a bit, started dating my girlfriend, which is now my wife, and she was going to school for media arts and animation. Animation is a different game than comics, obviously. Like, I look at their stuff and I'd be like, wow, this is a massive amount of work. This is slave labor. But it got me thinking about comics again, and she definitely encouraged me. And she even had teachers that would like would do comics independently on the side and stuff, because they were all fans, just like me, and they just had legitimate teaching. So I would show my work to them and try to redevelop a portfolio and stuff like that. And eventually that's what led me to try to submit to companies like Terminus. So
beautiful. I love that you keep on giving nuggets of your origin. I want to talk to you about some of your work for the Big Two. Let's talk
Yes.
about Spirits of Vengeance, a story you worked on with multiple ghostwriters. What was that experience like in collaborating with Sabir Prasada?
So that was actually pretty fun. Because being a horror fan, reading the script for that first issue gave me a lot of like Jeepers Creepers vibes, and I was a big Jeepers Creepers fan. At least that first movie. I don't know about the second and third. And all
The
that.
first one was good.
Yeah. I used to like complain to my friends all the time. Those second and third movies shouldn't exist, but whatever. So I was really excited about drawing Vengeance because I remember Vengeance when I was younger. Just kind of. I also remember like how massively violent he was. He was just like, just like murdering the hell out of anybody. And I thought it'd be pretty fun to draw, and I was starting to get the gist that it was going to be like this long form story of him just kind of piecing himself back together. That he's just not what he was, but I love that like horror focus of just having the, you know, like the dumb teens who are about to do something stupid and to wake something that's worse, you know. And I love that kind of motif with the story. And yeah, it's Sabir gave me a lot of fun stuff to draw.
I also wanted to talk about Bishop War College. That was your first time on an X-Men series. What was it like working on that X title for the first time? Were you an X-Men fan?
So like, to be honest, like I was super nervous getting into that. It was, you know, reading X-Men as a kid, reading like Bishop was one of my favorite characters. So I didn't think I could like, I don't know what it is. It's like some of your favorite characters, at least to me, like I never feel like I can draw them well enough. So I thought, I was like, I gotta get it together. I think I was shaking on that first page. I was just like, I gotta, because I think the first page was just a huge splash of Bishop. So I was just like, oh man, I gotta get it together here and actually figure out how to draw this guy and stop doodling in my sketchbook. But it was eventually I got myself together, and then it was just like really fun to be able to take a different approach, a different design approach to the alternate universe of X-Men, because that was the second biggest reason I took that book, is because I get to reinterpret how those X-Men look for this different world. So if like going back to like my wife, she was going to school for animation, and I distinctly remember being massively jealous of her for taking this class, this character design class, and one of the subjects was redesigning X-Men. And I distinctly remember being like massively like pissed, because I was just like, man, I had to sit in like a sculpture class figuring out how to chisel a piece of marble, and you know, and I absolutely hated that class. And it was just like, but I finally got to design my own X-Men with this book. So I was just like, I'm taking this story. I'm like I don't care how nervous I feel, I'm taking this story. I have fun with it.
Man, and another aspect I thought was cool was that Ken Lashley, the great Ken Lashley, did the covers for Bishop War College. And I just wanted to know, were you familiar with Ken's work prior? And if so, what are your thoughts about it?
Yes. So I first directly met Ken when I was like first getting hired by Marvel, and they had pulled us to do a drawing string to promote Marvel Voices, and they had sat us down with a video call with like one of the producers that were going to be on for that video, for that live. And then I'm meeting them, and you know, it's just like one of those things where it's just like, I think then it hit me that I was a comic book artist. I think, because I don't think it really sat with me at first. Like you're in the indie books, and you're kind of grinding, and you're trying to do the best work you can, and that's your main focus. And then when you just start sitting down with people that you kind of more or less grew up looking at their work, and that hit me in another way. I was just like, oh, like I'm actually doing this. This is crazy, you know. But that was the first time I met him. He was incredibly nice, incredibly kind. I wish I could draw half as fast as him. I sometimes look at drawing streams of him just to inspire me to like get through a page and stuff like that. So it was, you know.
You just read my mind, because I was about to ask you, what is Ken's superpower? You hit it, man. That dude is the lead killer, man. He could whip that thing real quick, man.
Yeah.
Real fast with that pen, man. Real fast.
Sean, another title you shared, Ken on covers, was Predator versus Black Panther. You know, you shared a bit of that pages with Chris Allen, and then that was written by Benjamin Percy. Which title were you more excited for, though? Was that Bishop War College or Predator versus Black Panther?
It's hard to say, because I was a massive Predator fan when I was a kid. So it was like, you know, like I remember like going to the theater when Aliens vs. Predator came out, and I was like, you know, arguing with my friends after the movie about how much Predator should be able to kill every single xenomorph in the movie without a problem, with no issue. But, you know, and I really, I always wanted to draw some Wakanda stuff for Marvel, probably since I was first hired. So, but then I got a chance to do Ghost Rider, and there was like a back and forth, because I had to do the first issue of Spirits of Vengeance, and then I wasn't supposed to do anything for Predator versus Black Panther until like maybe issue 2, 3, and stuff like that. And this is just to help out. This is just to alleviate some time for Chris Allen, who was the main artist on the series. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I'm finishing issue 1, and then I have to contribute just a single page to issue 1 as well. So I'm trying to squeeze it in as I'm still doing Spirits of Vengeance. And my editor on Spirits of Vengeance is like, it's fine. You really want to do Predator vs. Black Panther, go for it. We'll bring you back on, you know, another issue. They told me like issue 4 and 5, stuff like that, and that's fine. And so, you know, I was just gunning it on Predator versus Black Panther, and just having as much fun as I possibly could, and also just trying to get the pages done on time and stuff like that. And yeah, I distinctly remember like promising myself that, because usually a big deadline trick is to skip out on backgrounds, and I was like, I'm not skipping out on anything. So it's an absurd amount of staying up till 4 a.m. drawing and, you know, stuff like that.
And that was just a blessing, being able to do both, right? And,
yeah.
And Ben Percy was the main writer for all the Predator crossovers. What was it like working off of Ben Percy's scripts?
So I thought they were super fun. My favorite part of his scripts was the atmosphere he was able to create when the Dora Milaje are in the jungle and they're being stalked by one of the outfits. It was like, he had great action scenes and stuff like that, but like some of the more atmospheric fear, that's what I was really into. Like I love that he would like be able to slow down the narrative and stuff like that, and just be able to focus your attention and give you this dread of what's going to happen to this character next. So,
all right, so we got a process question for you, Sean. What are your steps to laying out a page? What are some of your go-to tools, methodology, et cetera, et cetera?
So it largely depends on like how well I'm interpreting that script. So if I am like massively tired and I'm like, you know, just hadn't slept a lot, I'm trying to push. I try to keep it simple. I try to say like, what's the most important panel on this page? How can I depict it to give the reader some impact? And what kind of feeling does that particular panel exude, like overall? Once I figure that out, then all the other panels and stuff tends to come together. But that's usually like if I'm too tired to kind of just dwell on all the possibilities I can do with how I can dictate how this story is going to go on any particular page, then that's usually my go-to. I'm like, okay, what's more important, this or a dozen other things?
What about when you get to the composition? Do you do like thumbnails, or do you have you just lay out straight on the board, or do you do digital? Do you do traditional?
So it's I lay it out digitally first. Like I have an iPad and I put Studio on it, and I just kind of work out my thumbnails on there first. And once I figure that out, then I'll like actually print it out directly onto the Bristol board. And even then, it's kind of super rough, so I'd still have to do a good amount of underdrawing and all that just to be able to develop the page more. And I usually do that in like red pencil. I don't use non-photo blue anymore, but it's red just helps me see it better, and it gives me like once you have a certain amount of layered lines in red, it just looks kind of three-dimensional. You can help it look three-dimensional, so I know what to focus on more when I start laying down like actual like graphite pencil. And yeah, once all the underdrawing's done, then I'm going directly into it's basically just clean little graphite pencil, and at least try to keep it as clean as I can, especially if it's going to be an anchor on it.
Do you ink your own stuff, or do they pair you with an inker sometime?
Usually for DC or Marvel, I'm usually paired with an inker. When I'm doing indie, then I'll like my own stuff, and that's if I don't choose to just like draw it digitally. But yeah, I think I'm fairly comfortable with inking. I think I tend to noodle a lot because of my influences, like Wrights and stuff. Like I tend to add lines where there probably should not be lines, But I don't know what it is. It's like I just mentally, I just kind of fall into the picture, and I'm just gonna be here for a minute. Gets me in trouble sometimes.
You mentioned writing like 4 times, and I gotta admit, so do you paint too, like Bernie?
No. When I painted, I did not paint like Bernie. I think I was trying to be. So there's this artist named. He's not a comic artist. His name is Robert Liberace, and he's a figurative oil painter. And I think when I was painting, I was trying to paint more like that. I was trying to look more like, Da Vinci and Michelangelo and stuff like that, trying to be as classical as I could be. And surprisingly, like those influences, at least as far as I'm starting to notice, are showing up more and more in my comic work. Maybe it's subconscious, but especially now, like for Spirits Avengers number 5, like there was definitely some pages where I was like, I'm trying to approach this like a classical figure drawing or painting and stuff like that. Usually I feel like I'm trying to be more cartoony, but on that particular issue, the cartooniness was starting to go away.
Sean, we're on our very last question. Is there something that we haven't talked about that you want the fans to know about? Any projects that we missed? Any upcoming appearances? Any new projects that you want to push?
Well, outside of, well, right now, I'm very excited about this. Spirits of Vengeance, first 6 issues have been collected in trade, so that's available now. Bishop Ware College has been available to trade for a little while now. I did contribute a little bit to one of my favorite books when I was growing up, Blood Syndicate. And that's been in collected edition for quite a while now too, and I think it's actually got a hard paperback version now, so that's pretty good. I've also done a good amount of indie work that I still want people to go pick up. Like there's Dark History of Alchemist with Ray Comics. There's for Webway Comics, there's It's Not Under the Ware Spider, Drums of Logan, and that was incredibly fun to draw because I like fantasy stuff. And that's available. And there is stuff coming up. Like, you follow me on social media, Sean Damien Hill anywhere. I try, especially on Instagram stories, I'll show like little snippets of stuff, and I'm probably not supposed to be showing, but you know.
Hey man, Sean, man, I'm glad we were able to make this happen, man. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Just know you always have a home here on the Sig Slayers Station, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, that's all for our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the like button. This is Sig Slayers. I'm Mike, speaking for Mark and Sean Damien Hill. We are out. Peace.
Sig Slayers.